Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Joker and how good he is in the current meta. As you guys know, I did a little bit of a poll and the most liked comment was going to be the character we chose. Joker was the most liked comment for a character, but there was also another comment that had a lot of likes that was talking about which characters are the best secondaries in Smash Ultimate. So we're going to be doing that for another video, but for today's video, we're just going to be talking about Joker and how good he is in the current meta. So let's start with the plus sides, and there are a lot of them. Not even taking a look at anything in Joker's kit, his pure stats alone are ridiculous. This character is extremely nimble and very hard to catch, as well as having such an insanely good dash because he crouches really low to the ground, so it just makes him really slippery in general in neutral. And when you combo that with the access to gun, which makes your movement 30 times better, and then you have slingshot gun, which makes your movement literally the best in the game, Joker becomes such a tough character to trap, and it makes him really evasive and neutral. And I just have to talk about gun more because this move is ridiculously good. While it's not nowhere near as good as it used to be because they nerfed down guns significantly, so you're not going to see it for that use as much anymore, but the amount of this slow pepper damage you can get on people is ridiculous because you can shoot a gun from pretty much across the stage. It's very low risk. You can do it in the air as well, so you can immediately cancel it. It does like 1-2%, but over the course of a game, especially when you're playing Joker, who is very evasive, it adds up over and over and over again until you're getting like 50-60% based off gun alone, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're doing it, it's no risk. You're never really getting punished for it. Sometimes you can get some conversions off it because if you are close enough with gun, it actually does send them flying back. Arsene gun as well. If you're getting people really close with the arsene gun, you could be doing 5-6% per shot, and it just slowly starts to add up more and more over time. And then you combo that with, let's say, his side B, especially Arsene side B. That move alone does 20%. So Joker is one of the best characters in the game at just applying that chip damage to you, and he also has a ridiculous combo game. Starting off with Joker's grab for his combo game, he has combos off both up throw and down throw. Now, it really does depend on where you are on the stage if you want to use it. Up throw is going to get you an up air, and down throw is going to get you a back air. Now, with up throw, you can do drag down up air into another grab, and if you're by a platform, Joker actually has an infinite where he can just up air you over and over and over again, and then end it by confirming into up smash. Now, it's not a very good infinite. It's super hard to do, and it doesn't do a ton of damage, but an infinite is an infinite nonetheless. The fact that you have access to that off a grab as well is extremely scary. There's just so many setups that Joker gets off grab. Now, his throws aren't really killing. They do start killing towards the higher percents, like 170, 180, but Joker is very rarely going to be struggling to get that high unless you're just playing that game plan like kind of how Bayonetta players are playing right now, where they just slowly chip away at you and they never risk anything until they have a guaranteed punish, and Joker can do that extremely well because of how effective his chip damage is. Next up, you have his aerials, and Joker's aerials are ridiculous. You have his Nair, which is a hitbox that's going to be going all around him, which is always nice. It is also disjointed. Now, Joker's disjoint's non-arsene for this part. We're just going to be talking about non-arsene aerials. They're nothing crazy, but it is still a disjoint. It is still nice. It's all around him, as well as Joker Nair being able to combo into his grab, into his dash attack, into his F-tilt, into a multitude of things. That just makes it a really scary tool in neutral. Then you have his back air as well, and for being as fast as it is, because this move is incredibly quick, back air is very strong. And the amount of movement that you have off stage and both on stage because of gun, because of upbeat canceling, it just makes it so you can pinpoint people really well. And when you're edge guarding someone with Joker, his back air is such a scary tool because you're able to track people down so well. It's frame 7, by the way, just for reference, which is ridiculously fast for an aerial that strong. Then you have his down air. Now, his down air, it does have some combos, so there's a lower percent. I would probably say it is the weaker of his aerials, non-arsene form, because arsene form, it goes kind of crazy, but you can still 2-frame with it, you can still edge guard with it, it's still a good aerial overall. I just think the other ones fill a better niche. Then you have finally his up air, and we kind of already talked about this. Up air's main usage is going to be for some combo enders, maybe you're getting people towards the top. It's also going to be a move that you combo off the platforms with. You can do drags down with it, which is really scary, but it's not going to be something you're throwing out in neutral a ton unless you're trying to call out a jump and drag down someone into a down smash or something. Next up, you have his tilts, and this is what I'm going to start talking about Arsene, because without Arsene, Joker's tilts aren't amazing. His forward tilt is still really good because that thing is frame 8, pretty big disjoint, and it can start killing, as well as just being something that's really annoying to deal with in neutral. Down tilt as well is nice for the low profile, but up tilt and jab are nothing ridiculous. But when you get Arsene, all of these moves become kill moves. Dash attack as well, which you can combo into, is going to be killing pretty early with Arsene. Up tilt, pretty early with Arsene. Forward tilt, jab even is killing with Arsene. Arsene is what makes Joker's tilts insanely scary. Without them, they're just good tilts, fairly quick. They can send into combos at lower percents for at least like something like a down tilt or an up tilt, but you're not going to be spamming them a ton. You're going to be using more gun and aerials in neutral game. But once you get access to Arsene, all of these tilts not only become kill moves, but they still have their insanely good frame data, and arsene just makes Joker way scarier on the ground and in the air. Now, I won't spend as much time talking about Joker's arsene aerials because I feel like everyone knows how good these things are already, but back air, insane kill move, and it's massive. Forward air, very good kill move. Down air, one of the best spikes in the game. Up air is amazing, and you can still do drag down stuff with it. Nair is even bigger now and still combos. Arsene just gives Joker such a big buff to his aerial game, and I feel like that's fairly self-explanatory, so essentially just when you have arsene, everything that you do kills. And the final thing that I want to talk about that's really good for Joker is going to be his down B. Now, I still think people aren't amazing at dealing with Rebel's Guard, but for example, if you do like a Rebel's Guard off stage, there are certain scenarios where characters literally can't punish it at all, and you kind of just get to ledge for free, which is always nice. There's also times in the neutral game where you're just going to catch people off like a normal counter, and then you get arsene, which is obviously ridiculous. I think the one downside of it is people are still fairly bad at punishing the timing. Now, it is something that you have to react to, and honestly, I think people should just start grabbing it because a lot of characters are able to get a ton of grabs in this game. There are certain characters where you don't want it, like Fox, for example. You just want to charge an up smash because that thing rips pretty fast and you'll get a lot off your grab and you want to go for that reaction. But there's a ton of characters that either have a killing throw, they have kill confirms, they have throw confirms at lower percents that they just aren't doing because they want to get that big juicy up smash and they mistime it. So I think that's an area where people can get a little bit better. And then his down B counter with arsene is ridiculous. It's probably still the best counter in the game. I know Sephiroth counter is really good as well, but the fact that arsene is so big, it hits on both sides, it's incredibly strong. That move is overall just amazing. So let's talk about the downsides of Joker, and to be honest, there aren't a ton. I think the biggest one is going to be his recovery, especially when he has arsene. Without arsene, his recovery is actually pretty good. You can still get really far with the grappling hook, and you can mix up your timings for it. Now, you still can get edge guard. I think Pikachu is a great example of that. Pikachu could just throw out his lingering back air, click Joker once, all of a sudden he's dead, even if he does have his grapple, which is a little bit annoying. With arsene, you get to go a lot further generally, but it is so easy to edgeguard arsene. Like, so easy. If you want to beat Joker, you have to edgeguard arsene. That's essentially your biggest win condition, and the character gets bullied off stage. Even if he's not dying when he's off stage, you're still wasting arsene, and now Joker doesn't have access to that neutral, which is obviously going to be a huge thing that he kind of just doesn't have anymore, which is going to suck for the Joker player. Joker's also a really hard character just in general. Just the amount of buttons that you're going to be pressing in the neutral game is a lot higher than someone else. I'd like to compare it to Peach, for example. Peach is pressing so many buttons in neutral, even if it just looks like she's floating around. Joker, with the amount of times that you should be shooting gun, you should be using your side B, all that kind of stuff, you're just going to have a lot more inputs than the average player, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means that you're going to have to put in a lot of work. But to be fair, that work is usually worth it. Now, for Joker matchup charts, it's really good. He has a very strong matchup spread, and it makes sense because he is a ridiculously good character. The characters that are going to be beating him are going to be the characters that can stall out arsene, have a good neutral game plan versus him, as well as being able to abuse him off stage. And I think the best two examples of this would be Pikachu and Sonic. Those would be my go-to picks if I wanted to beat Joker, because they have two of the best edge guarding in the game. I would say they are the top two edge guarders in the game. Maybe Min Min and Snake a little bit higher than them, but I think those two are ridiculous in that aspect. They can cover a ton of stuff, have some really lingering arrows, especially for Pikachu. His back air absolutely guts Joker's recovery, as well as having some amazing stalling tools. Pikachu has amazing stalling. He can go into the stage, just side B, Thunder, T-Jolt, all that stuff with his up B as well. Incredibly hard to pin down. Sonic, I mean, has the best stalling in the game. There's not a lot of explanation there. He's just really quick, and both those characters, they're able to run out the arsene timer, they're able to edge guard the character, and they're able to contest them in neutral, and they give him just a really tough time in general. I think another one that's a pretty tough match for Joker as well is Mega Man. I mean, even if you look back, way back to like the Evo days, you had MK Leo losing to Kameme in the Mega Man Joker matchup. He said Mega Man was his least favorite character. We had Mars even being MK Leo's Joker with Mega Man. That's just another character. They're able to use the pellets like Joker gun. Pellets are almost like a Joker gun, except a little bit different, but Mega Man is able to abuse that fact really well. I feel like the pellets are doing better than gun most of the time because it's just easier to get chip damage with them. Though I still do think that Joker gun is better in a vacuum. Mega Man pellet versus Joker is incredibly strong, and it makes the matchup pretty tough for him. Now let's talk about Joker's representation at the top level, and despite how good he is, you actually don't see a ton of people playing Joker, and the reason for that is probably because he is so high maintenance. You have to be putting in a lot of work to be making these super deep runs, so people sometimes are just going to be picking an easier character that could do maybe not things as well, but they can do things a lot simpler. The first rep I want to talk about is going to be Tsubaki. Now, his recent performances haven't been as strong as his start of the season. He's a 17th at Tsubakeki 13, 25th at Maizuma top 11, but I want to take a look look at his Japan 24 run because it is insane. He gets wins on players like Kept, Osimo, Riziasu for a 5th place. Osimo, a top 15 player in the world most likely this season, so he's had some really good results, and he doesn't even have that many tournaments under his belt. Still a very new player, just kind of coming into the Smash Ultimate scene, so he's definitely someone I could keep your eye on. He could have a ton of potential going forward. Dura as well just recently won Australia's biggest tournament at Battle Arena Melbourne 13. Now, they may have a bigger tournament later on in the year if a couple invaders come down, but in terms of Australia talent, pretty much everyone was here, and he managed to win it without dropping a set, getting wins on Seb Pro, Kanaji, and 2 wins on Raze. Next up, I want to talk about Naito Sharp. Now, we haven't seen Sharp at an event since Mash Harder 5, which was a local in February, which he did end up winning with a couple good wins, got wins on Nuggets and Pelcom. Not really a local, more of like a C-tier, B-tier event, so that's pretty nice from him. The only 2 major performances we have from him this season are 49th at both Genesis and Let's Make Big Moves, where he gets wins on Embo Z, Snoggy, Player 4, Ludo, and Luis, which are all very good players. Then you have Omega. Omega also doesn't have a ton of events under his belt, but he's been going to a lot of locals in Georgia. And if it was anywhere else, it wouldn't really matter. But the fact that it's in Georgia, you can get second at an event there and get wins on Teaser, Moxie, DD, Jazzo. Like, he has all of those wins under his belt. He also has a 9th place at Battle for the South with a win on Beast Blood. Paul actually starts off the season pretty strong with a 25th at Let's Make Big Moves, getting wins on Teaser, Mr. E, and Stefan. And our final Joker rep is going to be, to no one's surprise, MK Leo. And even though he isn't using the character solely anymore, he still used it at the most important event that he won, being Genesis. He used mainly Joker. He used Byleth versus Mutes to a failing effort, as well as Aegis versus Sonics to a successful effort, but in the grand finals, it was all Joker that got him that run. And obviously, Leo is known for the Joker. When you think of Joker, you think of Leo, you think of Leo, you think of Joker. He's just kind of the reason that this character is so insanely good, or at least the reason that everyone knows this character is so insanely good, because we've seen what peak Joker looks like, and it's by MK Leo. So how good is Joker actually? And in my opinion, this character is still top 5. They have all the tools that they need to be competitive in the modern era of Smash Ultimate. Their neutral game plan is ridiculously good, really strong advantage state and disadvantage state. There's not a ton of holes in the game plan just in general. You have a really good X factor with Arsene as well. And while there are definitely a couple matchups that can be tricky, they aren't unwinnable because you do have that comeback factor with Arsene. Even normal Joker, you can rack up the damage incredibly quickly. You have solid kill confirms pretty much at all percents, and I just think overall he is amazing. I'm still really shocked that we don't see him at the top level, even though he is really hard. He's one of the few characters in this game that I would recommend solo maining. You don't need to pick up secondaries now. If you have the talent, you can still pick up secondaries for some of the tougher matchups like Sonic, like Pikachu. I think that is a great idea, but Joker is a character that you can solely invest in and still find a lot of success, because after all, he is top 5. And I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Now, I am by no means an expert on every single character in this game, so if there's something that I left out in this video, please let me know down below. Maybe it's just a tech that Joker has that I forgot to mention, maybe an area where they struggle, a top Joker rep I just forgot about, which is definitely not impossible because there is a lot of good players in this game. Again, anything that I may have left out, just let me know down below. Sport's been absolutely unreal. Thank you guys for everything. Next week, you can vote for the character that you want to see the most, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.